Welcome back to another fine, beautiful, sunny day here in eastern North Carolina. It's a little bit on the cool side. I think we got some sort of weather thing. It's going to get up to 70, I think, by the end of the week. It's crazy. Temperature goes up, temperature goes down. We're approaching spring. And because we're approaching spring, I want to start doing something that I talked about last year, that I teased about earlier this year, that I'm now finally going to start doing. And that's going to involve compost, poking holes in the ground. What is this, you might ask? I'll tell you in a second, but first, you have to subscribe. If you're not already subscribed, please subscribe, hit that bell icon to be notified of when I do post up a new video. This way you can follow along as I build my garden here on 1.5 acres in eastern North Carolina. So today, I'm going to start poking holes in the ground, like I said, and that's because if you've watched any of my previous videos and you watch me plant things, you see that when I dig out for a plant, such as a shrub, I'm actually digging out like a plug of dirt. It's sort of clay, heavy, silty soil. Not even silt isn't the right word. I'm not a soil expert, but if you've seen in my videos and you see the heavy muck that I pull out, it is heavy. There's very little aeration in there because it's sort of compressed. This used to be a farm once upon a time, the land that I sit on. And, the soil got tilled up and it got used on a regular basis. Well, after it stopped getting used, it just sat. And soil tends to, compress over time. And, the nutrients leached out if they're not being replenished. Grass is not going to replenish those nutrients, nor is it going to put its roots deep into the soil, because we get a lot of rain, and that water basically sits on top. So that's where the roots sit on top. So when I dig out a hole, there's about a couple inches of roots along with some decent soil, and then you've got this other soil beneath. Now, I know the other soil, the clay, heavy, compressed, silty soil, has some nutrients in it because there's earthworms in it. I've seen earthworms as deep down as 6 to 8 inches, which is pretty amazing to me. When it rains, they all come to the surface and the birds have a feast, which is another interesting natural phenomena. But that then poses the problem of when I put in the shrub in the ground, its roots want to go out like most plants in search of water, nutrients, etc. But if the soil beneath it isn't so hot, the worms, I don't know the whole worm thing, if they're going to go to the good soil and then bring it into the bad soil, etc., etc. So I need to sort of help the plants, at least in my thinking. And again, I'm not an expert gardener, and if you have your own thoughts, please leave a comment below. I'm open to suggestions and ideas here. But what I'm thinking is I'm going to aerate around the plant. I'm going to pour soil on the ground around it, compost. So compost from my own beds there. And hopefully those roots will start to migrate out away from the plant, which is good. It'll also hopefully add more nutrients into the ground without me having to till up the ground or disturb it more than it needs to be. And then hopefully it'll entice more worms to move in and around the plant, bringing those good nutrients and whatnot back and forth, and etc., and science. So that's what I'm going to do today. I'm going to poke a bunch of holes around a lot of my shrubs and plants here, and I'm going to put down the homegrown compost here. Reach back here. Got this nice compost. So we're going to get that in the camera shot there. Nice compost. And hopefully, with all of its organic matter in it, it'll eventually get into the ground. It'll wash into the ground, and again, everything will love it, and hopefully it'll provide again, those plant roots start pushing out, as opposed to, because I can only imagine that right now a lot of those shrub and tree roots are just sitting in basically the holes that I originally dug for them, because there's not much out for them, especially deeper. So again, if I can add more nutrients to the ground without having to till it up or doing anything else crazy, hopefully that the plants will start going out, the worms will start doing their thing of moving the goodness all around, and theoretically, if I do this every year, at least once a year, over time, the ground around the plants will become much healthier, and the plants themselves will be healthier. Let me stop talking and start poking holes in the ground. Oh, did I mention how I'm going to do that? That'll be done with this, which is a aerator, just a 2-prong. You get them in all different sizes. If you don't have one of these, then you could use probably a pitchfork. I have those too. But I had this and I thought if I can poke holes into the ground, because it has these hollow tubes here, just shove it in, dirt comes out the top, go around, and then hopefully that will again will do the job that I'm looking to do. Again, if you're a gardening expert or if you're any sort of sciencey person with soil, please let me know if I'm barking up the wrong tree here, or you know, if I got something going on here. Okay, so that's about it. I'm going to aerate around each of the shrubs. I'm going to put down the compost, and I'm going to then, you know, rake it sort of smooth, try to work it into the ground a bit. And it's as simple as that. And again, my theory is that this will help to improve the shrubbery because it'll add nutrients to the ground. Hopefully the earthworms will help loosen the ground around as they move back and forth between the not so good soil and the better soil with compost. And the plants will do better this year. We will see. It's just, you know, I'm trying to make things better for the plants, and then the plants will perform better, and then the garden will look better overall. So that's going to wrap it up for today. I'm not going to bore you with all of the other plants that I have to do this to. I have the pear trees in front. I have an apple tree in the orchard. I have I've got, I don't know, probably at least a dozen more shrubs I have to do. I've actually run out of homemade compost. I have more on the way that I'm making, but it's going to take another month or so. So like I said, spring is almost here. So I'm going to hit the bag compost that I have and do the same thing, but again, to all those other plants. I'm going to stop boring you now. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. Click that bell icon to be notified. If you want to see videos 5 days a week, let me know below. But to make that really happen, you have to subscribe, tell your friends, families, loved ones. Again, the more subscribers we get, the more videos I can make over time. So that's going to wrap it up for today. I'm going to stop prattling on. Check out the links below. And I'm going to catch you on the next one. Bye-bye.